Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kristina Lynn Show. The talk show with heart, where Kristina brings you up close and personal with the most fascinating guests from all walks of life.
Those were the days. A little risk never scared us. Pants tight, plans loose. We'd cruise down drags with our favorite bands. We bought good times with loose quarters. And every night, we had standing dates with the same friends. Life was simpler back then. We hustled, we bumped, we bus stopped, and we smoked all the time. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now. Visit screenyourlungs.org today.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
And now your host, Kristina Lynn.
Hello and welcome to the Kristina Lynn Show. I'm your host, Kristina Lynn, and we're the show that goes right to the heart of the matter. We're back this season in Nashville, Tennessee, one of my favorite places, and we have a first-time guest on today, but I've been looking really forward to talking with Johnny. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you on today. How are you?
I am great, Kristina. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. Well, now I want to talk a little bit about how you really got your career going. You have done so many great things as a songwriter, producer, and such a creative artist. So how did you get into this business, and what made you want to be in this business?
Well, I grew up way down in South Texas, a little town called West Lickle, Texas, right in the Mexican border. My father was a guitar player, and I had two older brothers that were guitar players. And so just growing up, I mean, even though we were migrant farm laborers and all that stuff for the first 18 years of my life, we always had a record player and a couple of guitars laying around, and you know, listening to my dad play and my older brothers, you know, I just, you know, learned a lot from them. Not necessarily did they say, hey, this is the way you do this or do that. You know, I just kind of was always kind of checking out what they were doing and stuff. So anyway, I started playing, I think at the age of 14, all over the bars down there, and mainly with rock bands. So anyway, I was real fortunate in that respect. All the bands I was with, they were all quite a bit older than I was and stuff. So I became a lead guitar player at a very young age, and I just, man, you know, in time I realized that it was just a gift. It was just, you know, I was blessed with talent from God, and that's how I understood guitar that well. But anyway, as time went on, some of my friends from down there moved to Nashville. One was David Lewis, who was a successful songwriter. Another one was Craig Langford, incredible bass player. He actually got the job with the first Trisha Yearwood band. And he recommended me. They had a few days of auditions of guitar players. And, you know, I had never played with any other bands other than local bands and stuff. So, and I believe I went up, they gave me a slot. I came to Nashville and auditioned, and I don't know how many guitar players there was, but there was a lot. And I wound up getting the job, and 2 days later, I was doing her very first tour, which was opening for Garth Brooks. And that's how it all started.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, you know, it's just such a great, inspiring story, because I know every year there are so many young artists, young, talented people that are coming into Nashville. What advice would you give them? You know, you obviously had a really lucky break, and again, it came through networking, didn't it? So what would be advice you would want to give to those that are saying, hey, I'm looking for my break. I'm in Nashville and I want to get started. What can I do?
Well, if you are a musician, first of all, you know, I came here as a guitar player. Then I became a producer and publisher and so forth and writer. But I came here as a guitar player. And the thing that you have to understand about Nashville is that Nashville is a song town. It's a lyric-driven town. And you have to frame your instrument. You and your instrument have to frame the vocal. It's not like, you know, like, let's say, bluegrass, that you can play over the vocals and do all kinds of, you know, riffs and all this thing, or rock does that too, right?
Right.
In Nashville, you've got to understand that the lead guitar guy, or any person who does, you know, fiddle or whatever it is, it's all about the vocal, you know. So you got to let that vocal speak, especially playing behind her Trisha Yearwood, you know, which I'm still with her 29 years plus, and I spent almost 20 years with Garth. You just have to let those vocals be incredible, because they are, you know. So just don't step on the vocal, and also keep your nose clean. Very, very important.
Very good advice. That's excellent. Well, I have to say, Trisha just has one of my very favorite voices. She is just such an amazing talent. Now, let's go to songwriting. You know, you get so many people coming in here also and saying, I'm a songwriter, I want to get my songs out there. What can they do? What's your advice just from the songwriting standpoint?
Well, if you come here purely as a songwriter, right? Not as an artist, but as a songwriter. Right. So in order to get the publishing deal and stuff, right, you have to understand that you need to write for these artists that are on the radio. You need to get into their head and what they like. It might be something that you're not into, but they are. So, you know, I would always tell my writers, I said, you know what? Write me a great song today and I'll give you a hug. You know, write me a hit song and I'll give you a whole bunch of money, right? So by that, I mean, it's like, okay, what does any artist on the radio, if you single them out, what do they like? And then you learn to write the stories that they like. In a sense, you're kind of, you know, the very successful writers nowadays, they aim for a particular artist or artists that fall into this category. Okay. And they write specifically for them. And then, you know, our song pluggers or myself or even the writer, if they know the artist or producer, they can pitch the song straight to them. But until you understand that this is all a business, right, that you want to write songs that will get on the radio, man, then publishers will be chasing you all over town. I mean, there's nothing wrong with writing a great song that's never going to get cut. Everybody needs to do that, right, because it's important to feed your soul as well, not just feed your bank account.
Exactly. Boy, that's true. That's good advice. Yeah. Now, is it all about the hook? I always hear, you know, in Nashville, it's all about the hook. And also, can you write a good drinking song, right?
I think to me personally, it's all about the phrasing of the whole entire song. By that, I mean is like, you know, the phrase of the line, how good it feels to a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, right? That's why like FGL is so successful, because they have those phrasings that have a little hip hop in them kind of thing. But then you have the other artists that don't have that kind of thing on them, but still their phrasing is always incredible. You know, like in Chris Stapleton stuff or Luke Combs stuff, the phrasing, the way it flows out of their mouth, is so easy to sing to. I think to me, that's the most important element of a song. Of course, everything's important, right? Like the lyric, obviously, and the melody. But anyway, phrasing comes to the top of my list.
One day, I'll teach chemistry to kids.
I'm going to be an architect.
My dream is to be a chef.
This is a world of possibilities. A world in which people who put their minds to something can really make a difference.
My goal is to help the environment.
Someday I'll find a cure for cancer.
At the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Federal Student Aid, we believe that aspiring minds can achieve anything. So we dedicate ourselves to making sure everyone has an opportunity to go to college. Each year, we provide more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds, making higher education possible for anyone at any stage of life.
I can go back to college.
I can change careers.
I can make a difference.
Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
With the timeless protection of ADT, it's safe to say,
hey Google, unlock the front door.
When you've helped save more lives than any other home security brand, it's safe to say, there's a reason millions of people trust ADT to help protect what matters most.
Having worked with Garth, and he has been so amazing. I just watched a documentary on him recently, and just for him to have been able to take country music and bridge it over to so much of a much larger audience. You know, they were showing Central Park there, where he had over 1 million people in Central Park. What do you feel is that universal appeal that Garth has had that has done this for him and for the music?
I mean, I've been on a stage with him hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
Right.
And
he's an amazing entertainer.
Yes. The way he delivers his stories to me is unparalleled. There is so much truth and so much soul in what he does. Yeah. I mean, he really is, I call him the GOAT, greatest of all time. I mean, the way he delivers, there's so much magic on that stage. It's all because of him. He's got something around him all the time, man, that is at another level. And he said one thing, when Alan Reynolds was producing his first records way back in the 80s, late 80s, that, that he told Garth, your songs have to be cool and hip 30, 40 years from now to the young generations. And, being on stage with him and watching every 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old sing every single lyric to every song that we do is what Alan Reynolds was talking about. So yeah, I mean, it's just, all I can say is he's Garth, man. He's the best out there,
Yeah, and I have to say too, having had him on my show, Dishing Up Country, I have a little funny story. One time when we were filming at a fanfare and my lighting man got lost, we were filming there in his trailer, and Garth got up and helped us with the lights. I said, Garth, we can't have you helping us with the lights. He is just one of the most down-to-earth, nicest guys. I've heard so many other stories how he has just reached out, and one of the crew here said that they even ran into him putting gas in the bus one time. So he's just so down-to-earth and just such a giving person.
Yeah, I mean, every time that I've been in the studio with him, he'll come outside and carry my amplifiers inside and bring them outside when we're done and stuff. So he's that guy. Right, he's right there, putting all the elbow grease into everything and stuff, and he's up there in when we're touring, up in the trusses for the lights, and he's very specific and about how he wants things done, and he just he shows his people how to do it himself. So he doesn't mind getting dirty at all. He's a hardworking guy.
He sure is, and he's very hands-on, and I just think it's fantastic. What a wonderful person. And of course, Trisha sure is a good cook too. We love watching her show. I think you've been on that show, haven't you, on the Food Network?
Yeah, I think done 3 episodes maybe, and they've been so much fun to make. I think one of them was we taped it in July, and it was the Christmas dinner episode, and I had to do some gingerbread martinis was my role, and they were real. They had real, I forget how many kind of liquors they had in them. But, you know, in television world, as you know, sometimes you have to shoot scenes a bunch of times.
Right.
And we had a toast every time we did a scene, and it was like real stuff. And by the end of that segment, you can tell this like, oh man, these guys are you know, they're on the verge of getting trashed on
Oh yeah.
Because her shows are so much fun to take.
Oh, they are.
They're so real. There's like no acting on it, you know.
Right.
You can be as goofy as you want, and you know, so good. But so I absolutely love her shows, and her cooking is absolutely amazing. And I'm here to tell you that sometimes she makes me German chocolate cake for my birthday, and oh my God, there's nothing like it.
I'm from Georgia. She's an amazing inspiration as a Georgia girl of being such a great cook and to have such a beautiful voice and such a talented performer and entertainer and singer. So she's awesome. But we're just so
you know, when I was talking earlier about framing the vocal as a musician, all the records that I played on with her, when you hear her voice coming through your headphones, all you want to do is get the hell out of the way. My gosh, it's just, I mean, she really to me is the best singer on earth. I mean, not just 'cause I love her to pieces, but she is just unbelievable.
She sure is amazing. Her voice is just something else. I remember I was lucky enough to get a CD of the West Side Story compilation that they did where they had her do a song from West Side Story. And that was just the most beautiful version that I've ever heard. You know, it's just, you know, amazing. Well, you know, now let's go back to mentoring. I know that you have been wonderful about giving advice, again, to young artists, to those kids that drive up, they save up all their money and they pull into Nashville and they just say, okay, this is my dream, I'm here. Let's go back to that a minute. What else can they do to network, to get discovered? What other advice do you have? I know they've got to persevere.
Yeah,
and
well,
what else?
Before all this pandemic, COVID, you know, shutdown and stuff, for young artists that come into town, you need to, some of them come into town, very few of them come into town with already a very solid relationship in place with either a producer or a publisher or somebody who's already in the big league, as we call it, right? Okay. And so sometimes, you know, when you come in that way, I mean, you know, you're already going to have somebody carry you in to Music Row and you know, and present you and set you up with all these people. But most artists do not come with that in place. So what I would recommend is very little of the music industry executives, you know, like myself and all my peers that are in the business, almost none of us go to Lower Broadway because it's kind of pain in the butt to go where there's too many tourists, and which is awesome for the city, right? But in the past, before the shutdown, we would all meet in Midtown. So like the bars in Midtown, like Losers and Winners and all those bars in that area, that's where you run into a lot of the producers and publishers and you know, and stars that are already, artists that are already, you know, successful and so forth. To whereas you will run into very little of that crowd on Lower Broadway, even though Lower Broadway is a cool place to go. But that's for the tourists, which we really need, right? But and get around, network, go shake hands with, go to writers' rounds, you know, and shake hands with everybody that you can. Meet people, you know, be nice, you know, people, songwriters that are already pretty successful. If you're just a cool person, nice person, you're not a pain in the ass or something and overbearing, you know, you will start getting into rooms with some of these people and writing, you know, get up and sing, get up and play, you know, so make yourself known in this town if you didn't come into town with a relationship. And pretty soon, you know, if you've got the talent, you know, somebody's going to be involved with you that's going to take you somewhere.
Yeah, do people still get discovered at the Bluebird and at 3rd and Lindsay and places like that?
Right, exactly. Just network yourself all over the place. And it's just also just great to make friends, right? But, but just be social with people. Just network yourself all over the place, but again, I mean, also don't be like a slob and drunk, because you'll turn everybody off,
Right.
That's
Just important.
Just be cool and, hang
You
out
never
with
know.
people.
Yeah. You never know who you're sitting next to at a bar,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
That's
Especially
right.
in Nashville, Tennessee. My goodness.
Be on good behavior, because you never know who's right there in the audience listening and who's sitting next to you at the restaurant or the bar or whatever it may be. I have a funny story. When I was doing my show Dishing Up Country, which we're bringing back, and I look forward to having you on that show as well sometime, Johnny. But I remember, at the CMA Awards one night, I was in the restroom. This is going to sound kind of funny, but in one stall I had Tammy Wynette next to me, and on the other side I had Reba. So in the ladies' room. So we ladies can accomplish a lot when we're putting on our makeup and touching up our lipstick in the ladies' room.
We are there, day one, with baby names and a gift that lasts a lifetime. We are there as you grow, protecting you and those you love. We are there when you get your first job, helping you to save for the future. We are there when you marry your sweetheart to help secure your new life together. We are there if the unexpected happens, to help you see life from a new perspective. We are there when you start your next chapter to make sure you get off to a great start. And we are there when you lose your soulmate to help make sure you will be all right. We are with you through life's journey. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Get to know us and see what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
When a crisis hits, close to home and across the globe, nonprofits are on the front lines, ready to serve.
Keep coming.
The demand for charitable services has skyrocketed, and nonprofits are rising to meet the needs. Healing, nurturing, rescuing, honoring, protecting, caring, inspiring. The work of philanthropic organizations of all sizes, across all missions, has never been more important. And it's donors and volunteers like you who make all this possible. Thank you. Together, we change the world. The Nonprofit Alliance.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Definitely that's for the memory banks for you, right? But probably not a Kodak moment, I would have guessed.
Right, exactly. But you just don't know. And I actually ended up putting together a television deal with some great people from ABC. And we met in the ladies' room. So you just never know where you are going to network, where you're going to meet somebody, and where that's going to happen.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, but I agree with you that it's important not to be drinking too much and giving out that kind of energy. You want to really show them, hey, I'm serious about this. This is the real deal. And I could see how that's important. Now, moving on from that, let's talk about moving forward now. What are some things in your career, Johnny, you've accomplished so much, but what are you looking at that you haven't done yet? What's on your list that you still want to do moving forward?
In my production, the records I'm producing, I want to launch a new artist to the very top, and I'm real close right now with a duo named Joe and Martina. They're high up on Billboard Indicator right now with a song called "Give Me Back the '90s."
Give Me Back the '90s.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great title.
And I'm real excited about them. It's a husband and wife duo, and Grassroots Promotions is handling their single right now, and it's doing fantastic. And John Barry, which is one of my favorite singers ever, he actually sings the last chorus in the song. Looking to take a new artist to the top, and I'm producing some other artists like Sarah Ryder, Sarah Harrelson, Audra McLaughlin, which are incredibly talented people. And so, that's it, especially right now that we're still pretty much in the shutdown. My studio is incredibly busy and with these people and stuff. I hardly let anybody in here. We're building tracks. My favorite, session players in town, they've got their own recording rooms. So we just record our own tracks in our own studios, and then we put them together. And actually very, very excited about the records that we're making now that way, right? When it's not, 6, 7 of us in one room. It's just one guy in one room, one girl in the other, in another studio and so forth. So to answer your question, it's just, I want to break an artist to a great career.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to hearing that new single, and they sound great because it's so important. We were talking about this yesterday on another show. It's just so important that we keep our culture, keep our music, our entertainment moving forward. Great to know that music is still moving forward, of course, and that we're able to continue. Let's talk about the future of country music. Now, there have been a lot of people that say, hey, I'm a traditionalist. I want to stay traditional, okay? And then there are others that say, okay, let's look at the fusion. So what do you see in moving forward in country music itself as a particular genre moving forward?
I think country music should be a big melting pot, kind of like Americana, the Americana genre is. Not as widespread as, stylistically as Americana radio is, but in country, I mean, yes, having Merle and George and all those people, all those artists, that is such a value, such an incredible personal treasure for all of us, right?
Yes, right.
Ray Charles, Charlie Pride, and so forth. And to me, it's like classic rock, right? To me, the 70s and classic rock was like the golden era of music. With country, I think it was the 90s, which was a combination of kind of old school and modern school. So I think that it'll definitely even be a little more versatile even coming up. But I'm great with that myself. I mean, I love what Florida Georgia Line is doing. I love what Chris Stapleton doing. And then Garth coming back on the radio and Trisha. My goodness, So you got all these traditional artists, you got all these very modern day artists, and I love it all. I mean, as long as the song is good, sometimes, there's an issue with the songs, being kind of not so great. And I'm not going to mention any names, but man, if it's good music, good productions, good song, let the artists be who they are, Exactly. And I think that producers shouldn't try to change an artist. They should just get that artist and get that, make that artist as good as they can be, but being the artist being themselves kind of thing. So I think it turns even to a bit of more of a melting pot, actually. So
wonderful. I couldn't agree with you more, and I think you really made such a great statement there. I agree with that so much. Well, I wish we could continue talking. We've just come to the end of the show, Johnny, but would you please come back and join us again really soon? We would love to have you. I would
absolutely love to. You guys just shoot me a note, give me a call, and
you got it. Oh, well, we'll take you up on that. I want to try one of those gingerbread martinis. Okay.
Oh my goodness! I tell you what.
We'll hold you to
that recipe and send it to you guys because you need to try this thing.
Right.
I think Trisha came up with it, but it is the most amazing tasting cocktail you will ever have.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
I'll grab the recipe and I'll shoot it to you guys.
Fantastic. That'll be great. Well, it's always a pleasure. Keep up the great work that you're doing. We're looking forward to your new artists. All the best. And keep that Nashville sound going. Let's keep music alive. So again, thank you. And we're looking forward to also having you on Dishing Up Country. I'm resurrecting the Dishing Up Country show. It'll be great to have you on. Would love to have your new artist. And Garth's been on it in the past quite a few times. Would love to have him back, and Trisha as well. Thank you so much for being here, Johnny.
Thank you, Kristina. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you for doing everything that you guys are doing for keeping, keeping just the energy of music going.
Right. Oh, it's our pleasure. There's nothing like American music. We want to keep American culture alive, American music alive. It's so important. Stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll see you real soon. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.
The Kristina Lynn Show, the show with heart. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again. And don't forget just how important you really are to us.
You're listening to AM/FM 247, the best in talk and music, all day and every day.